What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
Powell going deep, and it's caught in the end zone for a touchdown by Xavier Diaz. A great throw, Diaz wide open.
.32-yarder here, well within his range.
Ball snapped, spotted, kick is up, and it is down the middle.
Good by Plenty.
It looks like it's going to be short. Stretch that, baby. There we go. Give it a good pull. And Vineland's defense. Oh, no.
What? That was a little suspect there.
And welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Guzman's Gridiron, presented by Underground Sports Philadelphia and the Red and Gray Gridiron Group. I'm your host, Kyle Bennett, and joining me each and every week, the namesake of the show, Coach Jose Guzman, your head coach of Vineland High School football coach. Another week in the books. Week 0 is gone. The school year is on the horizon, and we have another matchup at home to get ready for this Friday night. First Friday night game of the season. It felt like last year it took forever for Friday Night Lights. It's nice to have it right at week 1 this year.
Yeah, it's Friday Night Lights. It doesn't get any better than that, Kyle. So we're looking forward to it.
A lot of fun stuff to dive into. But before we do, make sure you guys subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel so you don't miss out on the show each and every week. It premieres like live TV, so you can be in the chat with us, watch the show live like it's a regular TV show, and then it's available to watch on our YouTube channel once the premiere is finished as well. So be sure to subscribe, leave those positive comments in the comment section, and if you click the bell icon on the channel, you'll know whenever new videos, including the premieres of Guzman's Gridiron, go live. You can also subscribe to the show on your podcast platform of choice. Coach coming off of week 0 against Jason Volpe and Delsea. Not the results you guys were looking for, obviously, but we talked about it on the broadcast, myself and Marcelino, which we're very excited to have Marcelino in the booth with myself this year. It's a young team, and we talked about that on last week's episode. More than 50% of the roster are underclassmen, if not freshmen. What did you take away from the learning experience for these guys getting their first taste of varsity action, and what does a game like last week kind of teach those young guys about what the varsity level is all about?
Ultimately, it taught the kids, that accountability is everything. You got to be able to hold yourself accountable when ultimately you're not executing. You're not executing on all 3 phases, offensively, defensively, and special teams. So again, that really put that stamp, on that situation, if you will. And as for the older guys, they kind of understand, listen, 1 game down, that's 1 game we don't get back. So, they're biting at the bit to get at it again come this Friday and see about getting on the other side of that on that win column.
We've talked about it, since you've come on as the host of this show and just in passing too when it was with Coach Russo. Special teams are so important to the swing of a game one way or another. and it felt like there were a lot of those first game jitters last week on special teams. What are some things you guys have worked on to learn from a lot of those early mistakes and to just kind of get better and kind of hone in on, like, special teams can make or break a game for you?
Absolutely. We the very next day, we had practice, and we really had a deep film study with the kids, and ultimately showed them, you can't have costly mistakes. You want to play as much of perfect football as possible to ultimately gain the advantage on the opponent. But when you make ill-advised, mistakes, it shows. And with a caliber team like Delsea coming into town, you can't have them critical mistakes. You just can't. And then again, you start the game off on a kickoff return, muff that ball a little bit, give them incredible field position to start. Just not the way that football should be played at all. So again, the key word is execution. We got to execute on all three phases.
And I think when you guys saw a lot of success last year on the offensive side of the ball, it was a lot of winning that battle of field position. Obviously you had the speed demons as the return guys last year that really set up Elijah and the offense for a lot of success, where you were working with as close to half a field as possible.
Right.
And I think that is just another thing to kind of grow from for these young guys, is learning the value of field position.
Absolutely. And again, it was a point of emphasis, for that Friday morning meeting. We've got to win these battles at the point of attack, it being special teams. That's a third of the game, man. It's a third of the game, and shame on us. I take the loss totally on the chin. That was, I even said it in the paper when they interviewed me. It's my fault. I'm a big guy. I can go ahead and take that loss on the chin. But best believe that moving forward, it's not going to look like that.
And I think the box score and the final score don't really reflect a lot of the positives that the defensive side of the ball brought to the game. There was a lot of great takeaways, I think, from the defensive game plan and what we saw contributions-wise from a lot of the players on defense. What did you guys take away when you break down the film and see a lot of those key moments that really showed up during the game and then really show up, when you go back and watch it on film?
One of the big things that we took away from, the film session on Friday morning was, if we come out like we did the second half, it's a different story. Second half defensively, we pitched a shutout, which was nice. So that was one of the good things that you kind of can put under your hat there. But again, it's not being satisfied at all with that type of effort. It's just not. It doesn't sit well. Mm-hmm. And to this point, my stomach just gets all in knots when I talk about it. Nobody wants to be on that end of a game, with a loss and an opening loss at home. So again, there's no blame game. I'm not blaming anyone. The kids, my staff, I'm blaming me. I've got to be better prepared, and I'm going to make sure that happens moving forward.
You talk about, pitching that shutout in the second half, and it did look like a completely different game in that second half in a lot of ways. What was the message in the locker room to the guys, preparing during halftime to come out, kind of just throw that first half away and treat the second half like it was another game, because they really came out and it looked like they were a lot more focused, a lot more attention to detail. What was kind of the message from the coaches, the leadership on the team as well at halftime to really lock these guys in?
The main message was, no excuses, just results. We can't sit on excuses. It's just not. I can't stand them. I can't stand excuses. I'm a very honest person, so I just told the kids, excuses are no good, man. Where's your heart at? How are you going to go ahead and adjust, to face this opponents come second half? We know what we're going to do as a staff, X's and O's wise, but we could draw up anything on a board, show you guys how to do it, how to adjust to whatever they're doing, but you've got to implement that, and you've got to come out with a chip on your shoulder and really put forth that effort that you know you can. And they took total heed to that, and the results were, a goose egg for the second half.
And we'll talk more about the team too, but obviously Thursday night was also the debut of co-offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special teams coach Ryan Shelton. What did you make of his approach to the game with so many hats that he's wearing this season? And, we've talked about Ryan for years as a player, for now years as a coach. Wearing all of those hats, how impressed were you by just his, focus on each phase of the game and being able to juggle all of those responsibilities once game action was going?
Coach Ryan Shelton is a great asset to have on our staff. I had him as a player, loved him as a player, love him as a staff member as well. He's just, he's so attentive to key details in any game that we're playing in, and again, he knows how to manage his time very, very well. There's no fall off from defense to offense to special teams. He stays tuned in. He knows exactly what he wants to do, what he wants the guys to do on the field for him. So again, man, he's just an asset for anyone to have, but we're just happy to have him here right here in Vineland.
We've talked about it for as long as I've known you, the 3 A's, and it was brought up post game when I was talking to some of the guys too.
Absolutely.
Was that a hardcore message this week of really locking in on that again, to know that that's a fundamental and foundational piece of your coaching culture?
Absolutely. We've preached it even when when Coach Russo was here. The 3 A's, alignment, adjustment, assignment are those are the 3 A's. If you don't know your assignment, you don't know how to align, and you don't know how to adjust, next man up. You got to be able to do those 3 things, and we preach that every single practice. We preach that before every pregame, halftime. I mean, it's just something that's a staple, for our home team here in Vineland. So,
obviously not the offensive production you guys were looking for, but what were some of the takeaways from the way the offense played, the way Elijah was composed with a brand new set of wide receivers, and the way that he was kind of able to play a lot more loose as the game went on? It felt like he was like, hey, I'm playing with house money. I'm kind of just being able to be myself and be like I'm in the backyard throwing the rock around. There's a lot of moments in the game too that I think he would say, if he was sitting right here with us, that he would want back. But there was also a lot of positives from his development. What did you guys take away from the offense on Thursday night?
Our offense, again, when we execute, they are lights out. They're very, very capable of doing their thing offensively. But when we're not executing and we're not having the greatest of games, things start to fall off. Tires start falling off the car and things of that nature. So, there was some moments there offensively where we looked the part, if you will. But, again, if we had to grade everyone would probably sit here, again, no excuses, and tell you they didn't have their best game.
And, after the game, just watching everything unfold, there was one player that popped off the page to Marcelino and I. We were talking at halftime and after the game, and that's why he's our homegrown player of the week, and that's Aiden Barriento, brought to you by the City of Vineland. And we mentioned it last week, guys. There's no better time than now to sign up and register, because the Garden State Comic Fest is coming to the new Vineland Convention Center on Saturday, November 15th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sunday, November 16th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. You're probably wondering, where's this convention center? It's the old Amish market. It's being turned into a convention center, which we've talked about last year when the City of Vineland got on board with us. Having things to do in this city is so pivotal, especially for our student athletes, our students in general. So we're very excited about the new convention center coming this November. You're going to be able to meet the likes of Melissa Joan Hart. Yes, Sabrina the Teenage Witch will be in our hometown, along with fan favorites like Dan Parent, the legendary Archie's comic artist and writer, Kevin Clash, the voice of Elmo, Splinter, and Baby Sinclair, and Keith Williams, the iconic comic book inker from Marvel, and more. Comics, cosplay, collectibles, and over 6,000 fans. You can visit gscfvineland.com for all the details. Again, the Garden State Comic Fest coming to the new Vineland Convention Center Saturday, November 15th and 16th. Visit gscfvineland.com for all the details. And we thank the City of Vineland for being a proud partner of Guzman's Gridiron, because it's always
Thank you.
growing season here in Vineland. Aiden Barriento popped off the page defensively. Any key moment in that game, especially going up against a wing T offense that in 2025 is something you normally don't see all that often, and it can be a confusing offense to really hone in on until you get your feet under you. Aiden was really locked in throughout the game, and that's why he's our player of the week. What did you see from Aiden in particular defensively, at that linebacker position, really being disruptive to Delsea's running backs and being able to come up with big plays to stall some of their drives? And, we talked about Aiden last year. I think his growth as not only a player but a person and a leader has really popped off the page. And talking to him post-game, which you can see our interview with Aiden on our social channels, he knows the job at hand for him this year as an upperclassman, as a leader, and it's been super impressive to watch his growth.
Let me tell you something about that young man, Aiden Barriento. That kid is special to me. He's first and foremost, he's a great kid. Everyone has a past, right? I had a past. I'm sure you have a past. Everybody has a past. But this kid is special in that, things that he's gone through or is possibly going through are things that I've gone through in my past. And so it's just it's pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive to see a young man that has, sometimes I know just by looking at him, he might feel like he has the world on his shoulders. But see, I always talk to him. I always sidebar with him, and I always tell him, God doesn't put that weight on your shoulders if you can't handle it. And you get picked out the womb. It's not just something that happens. You understand? Special people can handle special loads on their back. Special people can handle that weight on their back. And that's a special kid that can handle that weight on his back. He has absolutely just amazed me as a man, and I've told him this in right directly to him, right to his face, because of his growth here. That kid is getting it. He's finally getting it. Not just on the field. You see it on the field.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't see Aiden Barriento playing football at the high level, then if you don't see him playing at a high level, I don't know what you're looking at. The kid has a motor and can process information very well, plays football very well, reads his keys, does all the good things that you want him to do. And you saw it on display, okay? But besides football, throw football to the side. As a young man, that's a good young man.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very good young man. That's a young man that I'm telling you right now, and I can look at the camera and easily speak it into existence. He's going to make a lot of people turn heads like, Aiden? He's going to have a wonderful future. If he keeps doing what he's doing, overcoming adversity on a daily basis, okay, he's going to be one of those guys that has the world in the palm of his hand, man. He's a great kid. And he is going to be a great man once he gets his, to his age. He's just a special kid, man. He's a special kid to me. And I can tell, and I've told him in his face, and I'll say it in the camera, I'm very proud of that kid. Extremely proud of that kid. All right? People don't know. They just don't know what goes into coaching. It's so much more. It's... you have these guys that, all my D1 guys and this, that. How about the guys that are D3? How about the guys that aren't going nowhere? How about the guys that have all this ability and maybe don't have the weight to match it, right? But have the weight in gold here. That heart that kid has, Aiden, you can't measure that one, brother. You can't put his heart on a scale and measure it. So I just want his folks to know. And I want the community to know that kid is a kid that his parents should be extremely proud of that kid, because I'm extremely proud of the kid. The coaching staff is extremely proud of that kid. And what words came out of that young man's mouth in your interview? If you can't see it, I don't know what to say. I don't. But that kid is a special kid to me.
And, you know, how valuable for you guys as a coaching staff is it to have someone experience that growth and have it, like you said, finally click in and lock in for him to have that leadership in the locker room, with a locker room that is so young, that is so raw when it comes to the varsity level of football and the intricacies that can lie within that. To have Aiden as a leader on this team and as an upperclassman on this team, how valuable as a staff is that for you guys, that when you're not in the locker room, you know he's one of the people that can hold it down?
Absolutely. It's just it's a great asset. He's a great asset to have on the team. He knows his worth. He knows it. He knows that he's grown from, that quick-tempered Aiden Barriento to someone who can actually process a lot better now than he has ever processed in his life. And ultimately, because he can process the way he is now, not just in-game, but outside of the game of football, he's going to be a winner, man. He's going to be a winner, period. He's going to turn a lot of heads, you'll see.
And when you have that on the field at such a, it's called the quarterback of the defense for a reason.
Yes.
At the linebacker position.
He is the quarterback of our defense. He's the middle linebacker.
How important is that for you guys on defense to have that quick processing ability from a mental standpoint to know, like, he can call out signals,
Yes.
let everybody on the field know this is coming, this is where we go, and then also lead by example by saying it, but then going and doing it.
It leaves guys like Coach Shelton, Coach Smith, and myself, feeling a little more at ease. Aiden got it. He knows where his linemen line up. If you noticed in the game, some of the linemen were lined up wrong. What was Aiden doing?
Moving right up.
Moving them around, right? Smacking them on here, this side a little bit, over here. But he was putting them in positions to win. And again, I say, that's why this kid is going to be a winner at the game of life. Again, football being a microcosm of society, right? It's its own mini society, right? Now you take that and you put it into this social aspect of the real world, right? He's winning. The kid's a winner, man. And again, we're proud to have him on.
100%. And I also, for our player of the game segment this year and our posts and everything, I do want to give a big thank you to Allie Parent, who is photographing again for you guys. She's
awesome.
Sharing her photos with us to utilize them. So thank you to Allie as well for allowing us to elevate that piece of content for the show and spotlight our student athletes each and every week. But, Coach, when you take a game like you had against Delsea, what is the balance of throwing it out the window, kind of, forgetting all the negative from it, but also using it as a coaching tool and being like, hey, we don't want to end up here again.
Right.
We have another opponent coming into our hometown. We don't want Gittone Stadium to be a cakewalk. We want this place to be a nightmare like it has been in the past for opposing teams. We need to oppose our will on our opponent and make this place a tough place to play. What is finding that happy medium from a game like Delsea to then move forward to ACIT this week?
Well, again, you got to make sure that you went ahead, did your due diligence, which we did. We reviewed film. And ultimately, you've got to have that quick distinction. Okay, we had film study on Friday. Come Monday, the Delsea part of our whole, football season, it's over. Take what you learned from it and apply it to this week. So that's it. It's quick memory. Done. Film study was done on Friday. We're back at it for ACIT this week, and it's got to be a quick turnaround.
Thursday, it was a physical game. A lot of players got banged up. We have a new partner on board this season, our friends at Family Medical Equipment, another local Vineland sponsor. And since 2001, Family Medical Equipment has maintained a commitment to providing award-winning compassionate care to our community in New Jersey, Delaware, and Pennsylvania with a dedicated clinical staff, including respiratory therapists and skilled nurses. They ensure seamless follow-up care for every patient transitioning home from the hospital or onto hospice. Their commitment to excellence extends to their 24-hour on-call service, making home rehabilitation convenient and safe. As a family-owned and operated business, They pride themselves on caring for your family as their own. You can contact them at 856-794-8050. They're right on Landis Avenue. They are, we love supporting local businesses.
Thank you.
You and I,
Yep.
and we're super excited to have Family Medical Equipment on board as a brand new partner this year. They're going to be part of our injury report each and every week, and they're going to be part of my new install practice reports that you'll see on social media and our YouTube channel as well. A lot of guys got banged up late in that game.
Yes.
A lot of, key players were, coming off the field late. What's the status for a lot of those guys that did get banged up? A lot of them did go back in the game and then also came right back out. What's kind of the process there for you guys moving forward with the guys that did sustain any injuries or got banged up? Not necessarily a long-term thing, but what's kind of the injury report going into ACIT this week?
Upon checking in with, Trainer Dave and Miss Dara, again, they got a little banged up. Some suffered from, cramps. They were
Those August cramps will
yeah,
get you.
Yeah, it seems not to fail. First game, always 2-3 guys go down for cramps. But ultimately, we should have all those guys back in the fray this week, thank the Lord above. So nothing of major proportion in that regard. So we should be good heading into ACIT.
So it looks like we got a clean bill of health for the
Yes.
whole roster, which is perfect
Knock on
going
wood.
into week one. And, talking about TD and Trainer Dara too, we've talked about them on the show in the past, but for any of our new listeners or, new people tapping into Vineland football this year, what's the level of communication triangle, if you will, between coaching staff, trainers, players, and keeping that as something like, if you don't feel right, go see the trainers, talk to them, find out about your body and make sure that you're as close to 100% as you can possibly be day in and day out?
It's very easy. I mean, Trainer Dave, Miss Dara, they do an excellent job for us here, along with their, usually they have a college intern that's also with them. He's doing a great job with them. They just, communication-wise is very easy. If anything comes about, I can easily contact them. I'll text them. I'll call them. They always pick up. Same, vice versa with me. Hey, coach, such and such can't go today. Like today, I got a couple status reports on a couple kids that can't go today. No problem. So the respect is mutual. The key information getting, relayed in by everyone is beautiful. It's very instant almost. The kids get told all the time. It gets reinforced every single practice. If you have any nagging injuries, please see Trainer Dave or Miss Dara. Get it looked at and make sure that you go to all their therapy sessions so that come game day, you're firing on also or as close to 100%, right? Because when you play football, you're really never 100%. But as close to 100% as you can be. And with those two trainers on our side and their help as the intern, we're in a good spot. We're in a really good spot here at Vineland.
And even outside of game day, just on your day-to-day, you want to feel good, especially with school starting up. You don't want to feel less than 100% sitting in the middle of math class or social studies. You want to feel good throughout the day. That way, when you get to practice, too, you feel as good as you possibly can.
Absolutely, Colin. They, like I said, they do an excellent job, not just for my kids in football, but all the kids here in Vineland that need them. They take care of the kids very well, man.
They've been here for a long time.
Yeah,
They've
they're
been
not
here
going
since
nowhere.
I was
Better
here.
not be going nowhere.
Yeah, we'll have strong words.
No, they're excellent. Love both of them. They're great people, man.
They are the best. We'll have to get them on the show this year too, and just talk about the medical process and everything.
Maybe we could get them in here too.
They are the best. But we will talk more about this ACIT matchup, plus a whole lot more on the other side. We got a quick commercial break for you guys, but don't go anywhere. You're listening to and watching Guzman's Gridiron right here on Underground Sports Philadelphia. Hey, everybody, quick ad break, and I want to talk to you about our amazing sponsor, Allen Associates. And if you are looking for a reliable and experienced insurance agency that caters to all your needs, look no further than Allen Associates Insurance Services. With over 6 decades of experience under their belt, they specialize in health insurance, financial services, and accounting. Whether you're a part of the public or private sector, they've got you covered. Their family-owned business currently helps upwards of 300 groups throughout New Jersey, providing them with the best insurance options available. You can easily learn more and access their services by visiting their newly renovated website, AllenAssoc, that's ALLENASSOC.com. So join the family and let them help you secure your future. Contact them today online or by calling 856-692-2250. That's 856-692-2250. Big thank you to Allen Associates for being a proud partner of Guzman's Gridiron.
Out here, strength isn't a choice. It's a way of life. And when your back carries the weight of generations, you need support that never gives out. In the city, the load's different, but the drive is the same. When every step matters, your knees shouldn't slow you down. And when the work is done, healing isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. At Family Medical Equipment, we build relief into every stitch, strap, and product. From the fields to the office to your journey back to full strength. Family Medical Equipment. Built to support. Made to last.
Hello, I'm Mayor Anthony Fanucci. Vineland, New Jersey offers both a great business location and an outstanding quality of life. But don't just take my word for it, the experts agree. We're proud to be recognized as a premier food processing and logistics hub, one of New Jersey's most affordable and desirable cities, and one of the best places to retire in the country. Visit vinelandcity.org and see how our resources can work for you. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season.
And welcome back, everybody. Thank you to our sponsors. And, Coach, you know, we mentioned you don't want to be sitting in the middle of math class or social studies feeling bad.
Right.
School's starting up on Thursday. Hard to believe.
Quick.
Hard to believe how quickly the summer flew by. With a team that is so young, a lot of kids coming into high school for the first time. What is the message from the staff and, you know, the leaders on this team that are obviously returning to high school and, you know, going through the ranks and everything, to kind of just be on your P's and Q's and be dialed in and find that healthy balance of schoolwork, being dialed in on school first, and then also being ready for football?
You know, time management is critical. It's something that's, again, drilled into our kids' heads. Also, you know, to worry about what they have to do for their studies and for whatever other extracurricular activities they have going on within the school system itself, and not to worry about the outside noise. I always tell my players an empty barrel makes a lot of noise. Okay, so don't get caught up in nonsense. Just don't do it. Stay totally locked in to your studies. Stay totally locked in to whatever extracurricular activities you got going on. Of course, one of them being football. And let the rest fall by the wayside, man. When you get home, make sure you get plenty of rest, get the right foods in you, get plenty of water in you, and be habitual in that nature. You know, as far as confronting your day-to-day. So it gets drilled into their heads on a daily, believe me, Kyle.
And what's kind of the process, too, for a lot of you guys are also teachers here and helping a lot of these incoming freshmen finding that high school routine, because it is so different from the middle school routine. Your start time is different. Your end of day is different. What's kind of that message from you guys from almost the teacher angle to help them ease into this routine as the school year approaches?
Of course, you know, we let them know that the transition from middle school to ninth grade, it's very different. You know, where middle school, you know, you're more, I don't know, I don't want to really use the word coddled, but you're more kind of like looked after in a way. You know,
there's a lot more eyes on you.
Yeah.
To make sure you're being guided.
Right. once you step in as a ninth grader, that guidance kind of starts to fall on you. You get what's called the syllabus, right? It's almost collegiate in nature. It's that first instance where you see a syllabus, you're like,
those eyes got to be on a whole lot more people.
Yeah, and not to mention, then you add that aspect. You got about, 1,400, 1,500 students in that building. Big difference. Huge difference. There's a lot of kids over there. So again, they have to get used to a lot of things that before it was not an issue. There was nothing there. I was like, okay, I'm going to middle school. I'm walking the hallways. It's not a waves of kids. You walk these hallways, it's waves of kids all the way till the eye can't see no more.
You go from being the big fish in the small pond to the little fish in the big pond.
Real quick. And again, it goes down to, just keep your head to the grindstone. Don't look for no troubles. Keep your mouth shut, eyes and ears open. Handle your schoolwork first, and again, handle your play on the field. After that, and just make sure that you get up at the right time. Again, responsibility changes. The responsibility changes for these kids in such a way that, it has to grow on them. It's a process, and we know that, but it has to be a process that has to be reached rather quickly.
And I think this is my message to all you incoming freshmen too. As someone who came to Vineland High School, graduated from here, just get involved in as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
You will have such a more enjoyable and memorable high school experience if you get involved. Whether it's art club, band, obviously you're playing football. If you're listening to this show, you're on the team. Get involved in other sports after football season's over as well.
Sure.
Have everything in your wheelhouse. Be versatile.
Yes.
I think that is such an important thing, especially now where a lot of people, adults, kids, and in between are afraid and they close off to a lot of things. If you open yourself up to just different opportunities, you're going to have such a more enjoyable time.
Absolutely. I would have to agree 100% with you, Kyle. And that whole, you just opened up another door there to talk about. That whole thing about, opening yourself up to different opportunities, right? I tell these kids, and not just my football guys, but everyone's quick to be on the text, and there's no verbal communication. There's no sociability no more. I've seen kids in classrooms 2 seats away, and they're trying to text each other something. I'm like, first of all, I'm watching you.
Right.
I'm right here. I'm looking at you. Second of all, can't you just, hey, coach, can I say something to such and such? Go ahead. You talk. It's okay. Nobody's going to bite you here. Like, be sociable, But again, with all these nice little electronic devices, the whole sociability aspect is, in my opinion, not just in Vineland, country.
It's global.
The whole, maybe global. I know this country. That's how it is because I've gone to different states. It's always the same. It's, they're robots, man. You know what I mean?
And when you get involved, you probably, more often than not, will meet someone
Yes.
that you, if you're just glued to your phone, you wouldn't have ended up meeting them.
Yes. So again, opening yourself up to different opportunities is such a key thing. And then once they leave these walls of Vineland High and they go on to college, they're going to see that networking is everything. Networking is everything. I mean, I have buddies that because of networking, they're making way more money than I have, or I've made to this point. Why? Networking. They had the gift of gab. They talked to this person, that person. Now there's some big shot, working for Prudential up in Manhattan in New York, or working in Wall Street. Who's working in Wall Street? And these are the same people that were maybe CD students,
right.
But because they had the gift of gab and were able to meet, network with people and not be stuck on their, electronic devices, they're sitting pretty right now. Really pretty.
So get involved.
Yes. I would have to say yes.
We have another home game. Nice little home slate like we talked about last week coming up. ACIT comes to town for the very first time. Obviously, we faced off against them last year down in Brigantine, their first season as a varsity program. What what's popping off to you guys as coaches in the film from ACIT, remembering things from last year, going into this season that you're really paying attention to, and some things that ACIT do really well?
Again, well-coached kids. They have some size at tight end. They have some size just overall on that front line, and that quarterback. He's a very very talented young man. So they have a hard running back as well, and they have some guys on the outside that can go. So we got our work cut out for us. And again, our kids will be totally tuned in and ready to execute on all three phases of the game.
Now, I know it's a different system that ACIT runs versus Delsea, but what does going up against the wing T kind of prepare you for down the line, and obviously this week in particular, but what does facing a unique and different old school type of offense do to prepare you for like the newer school offenses?
Well, it definitely puts a stamp on making sure that our kids are fundamentally sound. With a wing T offense, there's so many different miscues that they're giving you that you really have to fundamentally be right on point. If not, there's a game for 20. So again, I think in playing a wing T team, it really prepared us to just fundamentally be sound offensively, defensively, and special teams. So we'll see what happens come Friday.
Now, we faced ACIT last season, their first year, like we mentioned, as a varsity program, and we talked about it last year when we previewed this game, to not overlook a team like that.
No.
And be prepared just as if they were the neighboring town in Millville, if they were a Cherry Hill West, if they were a Cherry Hill East, or anywhere in between.
Absolutely.
What is kind of the message there? Again, they're a newer program, but also just, hey, we're still not in the win column yet. We can't overlook this team whatsoever.
Absolutely, and they'll never be that. Not while I'm here. There's no team that gets overlooked. And so, again, every team that we face, the game plan is the same as far as, intensity, as far as putting our players in positions to win. Nothing changes. Other than the scheme is going to, of course, offensively, defensively be different, right? But as far as the approach is this team is coming to our house. In this case, right, they're coming to our house to try to get a W, and we're not going to let that happen. Okay, so that's always the approach for any team that we have in our midst.
He's going to love this when I say this, but obviously, new co-offensive coordinator, the one and only hard-hitting Ray Fitton. What did you take away from his first game as co-OC? Elevating from the QB coach position last season. What did you make of the new responsibilities he took on board this year and his dynamic with Ryan and their communication in a game-like situation?
Coach Ray Fitton is excellent at what he does. We love having him on staff. He's a great person. The kids love him. Not to mention he's a great football mind. He knows offenses. He knows defense. He knows the game of football. The game – it's a shame because he had such a beautiful game plan, and people didn't really see it come into fruition. There was a lot of things that were happening too. Again, people only see one side of the coin. They don't understand everything that's going on. But again, no excuses. Like I said, I take the loss on the chin myself. Okay, no blame on my guys. No blame on my kids. And so again, it's just a shame that you really didn't see his game plan come to fruition, but he had an excellent game plan for this team in Delsea. But again, he was taking his shots when he needed to. He wasn't playing back and scared at all. So, again, it's just a shame that we didn't really execute like we wanted to. But if we would have, you guys would have seen an unbelievably managed game plan.
And, going into this game where ACIT does have some size, they have some speed as well, returning from last year. What's kind of the approach offensively that you guys want to see this week to keep that balanced level of offense too? You want to be able to run the football, obviously, and, you still have that stable of backs there with Coach T.O., and you want to see Elijah take another step forward. You want to see him utilize his arm, but also late in that game against Delsea, he showed that he can run the football as well.
Oh yeah. Like I said, Elijah Calderon, talented young man, and as far as us going ahead and putting on an execution, if you will, as far as our offense and or defense or special teams, it yet has to be seen, man. It yet has to be seen on all phases. So we're going to see what happens, what team comes out. Is it going to be a team that executes and does their due diligence? Because if that's the case, watch out. But if it's the team that's going to go ahead and start making all these mental mistakes and things of that nature, it's going to be a long day, But we're hoping for the latter. We're hoping that our kids come out, willing and able to go ahead and just impose their will on this opponent in ACIT. And the kids can do it. They can do it.
And from a defensive standpoint, they have a great running back. They have a very talented quarterback. What's the approach there defensively that you've seen from Coach Smith, from Ryan Shelton as well, to really lock in and know, hey, they have talent at the blue chip positions on offense, quarterback being one of them. They have a run game. What's kind of the approach there defensively to make sure that you can attempt to neutralize both phases of offense there as much as possible?
In speaking with Coach Smith and Coach Shelton, our game plan is to basically force them into a situation, force them to not just go ahead and run the ball 70% of the time. So force that quarterback to start making decisions in that pocket. So again, their game plan thus far it's beautiful and everything looks nice on paper, right, Kyle? X's and O's wise, I mean, offensively, defensively, you have an awesome game plan, special teams wise as well. But again, it boils down to that one word, man, execution. But if our kids execute this week, it'll be a beautiful thing to see.
And how has practice been this week, coming off of the loss and preparing for a new opponent? What's the energy level in practice, especially there's a lot on the plate this week. Coming off a loss, holiday week, first week, leading into the school year starting. What's kind of the energy and the vibe that you've caught from practice so far this week?
Our kids they're just biting at the bit to get to Friday. They want these days to go by like this. They know we left chips on the table last week. They know. So they just want to rectify, that loss and bring a W to the column of wins that we should have. And again, no excuses. It is what it is. We lost the first game, but we're trying to make that thing turn around into our favor come this Friday.
First matchup at home this year too, when the school year's in session. What are you looking forward to most with a student section coming back ready to rock and roll and a packed crowd once again at Gittone Stadium with the week of school, underway and it being the place to be? And let's make it a positive environment at Gittone Stadium. Let's make that a fun place, a safe place to be each and every game night.
Listen, with the students coming back, I know it's going to be an awesome experience at Gittone, and just to let the the fans know, Gittone Stadium is Gittone Stadium. It's a stadium for young men, young women to come and play their games. Whether it's football, whether it's field hockey, whether it's girls soccer, boys soccer, okay? It is a stadium for our young men and women in Vineland to go and exhibit their play. It is not, and I repeat, it is not a place you go to settle scores. It is not a place you go and get into altercations with other students. It's horrible that even happened this past week. It's not the place for that, okay? There's a place called the PAL, okay? You want to go ahead and settle little disputes, you put gloves on, you go to the PAL, and you settle whatever dispute you want. But Gittone Stadium is a stadium for young men and women here in Vineland to go ahead and display their talents on the field of play. So please, I ask the audience, please come there with that intent to watch your kids of Vineland play whatever sport that they are exhibiting at that particular moment, okay? And please leave the negativity at home. That includes the fans too. We're talking about young kids, 14 through 18 years old. And what I'm hearing in the stands from some people is absolutely appalling, A, and B, there should be no place for that. You're an adult, act like an adult. And if you can't act like an adult in a public setting, stay home. It's very easy. You don't have to be there. It gets broadcasted on YouTube. So watch it at home, please. Do all of us that favor, including our kids here in Vineland.
100%. And be supportive if you're in the
Positive,
stands.
man. All we're looking for is positivity. If you're on the negative, side of things, just stay home.
Mm-hmm.
You got a choice. You don't have to come. Just stay home. If you know you're going to be shooting your mouth, doing all this negative talk, and again, to 14 through 18-year-olds, just stay home. Stay home.
100%. ACIT, though, Coach, and our game preview here brought to you by our awesome friends at Allen Associates. We're super supportive and appreciative of them. They are in their 65th year of serving the people of New Jersey. And if you're looking for a reliable and experienced insurance agency that caters to all your needs, look no further than Allen Associates Insurance Services. With over 6 decades of experience under their belt, we specialize in health insurance, financial services, and accounting. And whether you're a part of the public or private sector, they've got you covered. Their family-owned business currently helps upwards of 300 groups throughout New Jersey, providing them with the best insurance options available. You can easily learn more and access their services by visiting their new renovated website that is in the description of both the audio and video versions of the show. So join the family and let them help you secure your future. Contact them today online or by calling 856-692-2250. That's 856-692-2250. A big thank you to Allen Associates and congratulations on 65 years of service here in New Jersey. What's the expectation going into this matchup and knowing the ability that this team has to go out and produce? What's the expectation going into Friday night at 6 p.m. at Gittone Stadium?
The expectation is our kids are going to have no excuses, and they're going to execute on all 3 phases of the game. That's the expectation. So, again, we made sure that the seniors, let it be known to the underclassmen, and we made sure that the underclassmen understand that this is the seniors' legacy is coming to an end now. Do you understand? First game done. They'll never get a Delsea game again. It's done. ACIT's coming. Once they get done that game, there's no more ACIT games. So play for your seniors. Play for your seniors. Play your hearts out for your seniors, because you will want the same when you become a senior.
Who are some people that throughout practice, film study, and knowing what they're capable of that you guys as coaches are kind of viewing as an X factor this week, that you want to see them elevate their game and step up so that maybe they're in Aiden's shoes and they're the player of the game this coming week?
Well, I can tell you this much. One guy that's going to elevate game after game after game after game is definitely going to be Mr. Aiden Barriento. That I can tell you right now, period. Another young man, Barias Hill. He was another one this past game. Flying around, making plays everywhere, like I told you in our last meeting. Another guy that's going to, in my opinion, pop out at you this week, Caden Chestnut. Okay? He left some chips on the table. Another guy that we're looking to go ahead and see him pop off the page, Zincraft. Zincraft didn't have the best of games, but I'll tell you what, he wants it. It's funny with him because he's just a good, honest kid, and he'll tell you, Coach, I'll take that. That was me, but as quick as he says that, he'll also be like, Coach, I wish I could have that game back. I'm going to do so much better this game. You're going to see,
I can hear
he's
his
just,
voice.
yeah, listen, that's a kid. That's just a grade A kid, man. Class act, just a good dude, man. So I'm expecting a huge game from that kid. Huge game. So there's some guys, man. George Figueroa.
You could tell George on Thursday night was like chomping at the bit, like he knew it was there and just couldn't find that one hole to break through. But it's gonna be there for him.
Absolutely, and I just had he's a kid that's excitable, right? He's like, oh, coach, I want to run, but don't worry, it's gonna be there, man. It's gonna be there. So, I think this week he really wants to put on that showing. So I'm looking for a big game out of Georgie also.
And, it goes without saying the college football season's underway, and I do want to give a big congratulations to Vineland alumni Tank Powell, Marist, with a huge win this past week.
Tank
just popped off the page, getting national recognition there. So shout out to Tank and the Marist football team. And before we know it, the NFL season's going to be here. Pop going into year 4.
Yeah.
Time flies.
It's like this. It's like 1 minute we're talking about the kid he's in, the red and gray. Then he's in scarlet red.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then ultimately, he stayed red, which is
Yeah.
kind of weird.
Yep.
It's unbelievable. It's like red all his upbringing, red here, red with the Scarlet Knights, and then red with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Crazy.
It's unreal, but I'm expecting Pop to absolutely have a wonderful season, and he will. He will. He's going to have a wonderful – again, this offseason was just incredible as far as how he approached everything from gameplay to preparation to nutrition to flexibility to his injuries. I mean, I think he wrapped up everything into one nice little snug little point in his life, and he just went ahead and took care of everything he needed to take care of. So I'm expecting great things from Isaiah Pacheco. He's going to do monstrous things this year.
And one other thing we forgot to mention last week, and as soon as we walked out the door, I was like, how did I forget to shout out my brother Jamil Demby? He and his wife are expecting a baby in December. Very excited for Team Demby. So congratulations to Jamil and Michaela, because they're always Vineland football family first and foremost.
Forever.
But very special that they're bringing in a new life to the world.
Congratulations, the Demby family. He knows, man. He's loved, period. I told him at his camp, his lady was out there showing, she's beautiful. He's beautiful, man. They're going to have a beautiful family, and it's just it's a great thing, man. Congratulations.
What final thoughts do we have as we get ready for Week 1, game number 2 for the Vineland Fighting Clan as they host ACIT, Coach? What's the expectation, the energy, the feel from you, from the staff, from the players, going into Friday night, 6 p.m. on the Vineland Public Schools YouTube channel, myself and Marcelino Ojeda on the call on the Vineland Public Schools YouTube channel, but at Gittone Stadium. Bring the positive vibes, be out there. What's the message to everybody to be prepared for Week 1?
Our kids they're fired up, like I said, to right their wrongs. Again, my preparation this week, again, to a T, it's totally going to be different as far as, how we come out. And as far as, the fans, just a positive environment. A positive environment at Gittone Stadium, man. Let's be an example for other, other local teams, to go ahead and, wow, Gittone, I had an unbelievable experience there.
Mm-hmm.
Not, Gittone, well, there was this fight that happened and this fight. All that negative stuff needs to stop, man. And again, it starts with the adults, man. We gotta police our kids, man, in a good way, in a positive way, and make sure we know what they're doing at all times. It takes a village to raise our kids, man. And we need to really go back to that, because right now our kids need us, man. And again, this is outside of football.
Mm-hmm.
They need us. They need us in a positive way. And again, please, I stress, if you're coming to watch the game, be positive. We have young kids there, man. Besides our kids that are on
Right.
the field, you know, just
You want it to be fun.
Yes, a good experience. You want young kids that are coming to watch whatever game's there. Like I said, there's not just football that goes on there. Whatever game goes there, you want them to leave with that. Man, I want to put on that uniform. You know,
I wanna
wanna
play on that field.
Yeah, I want to be one of these guys that actually plays on that field, not, you know, the mom or the dad kind of like ushering their kids close to them and like, yeah, this is the last time we're coming here. That's not what I want. That's not what our kids on this football team want. That's not what the kids of Vineland High School want. They want positive reinforcement. So let's all do our due diligence as adults and act accordingly, man, and keep it positive at Gittone Stadium.
It's going to be a fun one. Friday night, September 5th, 6 p.m., kickoff at Gittone Stadium. You can watch the game in person, or you can stream it on YouTube at the Vineland Public Schools YouTube channel. I'll be on the call with Marcelino Ojeda, Vineland High School football alumni. Very stoked to have him in the booth with me this year. Do miss our good friend Rich Scarpa, though. But it's fun to have Marcelino up in the booth there. It's going to be a fun season all year long. Make sure you guys subscribe to Guzman's Gridiron wherever you get your podcast. There is a Guzman's Gridiron designated feed, just that show. If you want that show, it also airs on the Underground Sports Philadelphia podcast feed, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And then, of course, you can watch the show on our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/@undergroundsportsphiladelphia. Leave a like on the video. Be in the comment section with those positive vibes, positive comments during the premiere. It premieres every single game night eve on our YouTube channel, and then it's available to watch there after as well. But be sure to subscribe. It really helps us here to continue to grow and builds this beautiful partnership we've had with Vineland Football for 8 seasons and counting. So keep on watching the show on YouTube as well, and we will see you all Friday night at Gittone Stadium under the lights. But until then, we'll be here next week breaking it all down, hopefully talking about a big-time Vineland W, Coach.
Let's do it.
And as always, everybody, go Vineland.